Hey horror fans, welcome back to another episode of Terror Talk where I discuss creepy clips online. The original horror music that you hear in these videos is composed by me. Now imagine being able to save on everyday expenses and put that money towards your next horror movie outing, spooky decor, or haunted carnival excursion. Be sure to watch all the way through as I have something that will help feed your next horror adventures. Now let's get into it and have some fun.
When I was a kid, I had an irrational fear of our basement. Though, if I do say so myself, our basement was kind of scary for a kid. It was a pretty big basement. There was an L-shaped couch right in the middle of the basement that sat right in front of a wooden support column. In front of the couch was the big old box TV we had down there, which had all of our video game consoles plugged into. The layout of the basement was set up as a big circle that went around the couch basically.
Did you ever have an irrational fear of your basement? I wouldn't call a fear of the basement irrational at all. Especially when you're younger, because those basements can be really creepy. I mean, you just never know who or what is hiding in them. And I've never lived in a house that has a basement. Since I live in Arizona, it's not all too common to have basements, but let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that.
There was a booth and table in one corner, an old bar in the other corner, which had the door to the laundry room behind it, and then in the other corner, closest to the stairs, was the doorway to my dad's little workout room. My dad rented out the upstairs of the house to an old lady named Ruth, so we only had access to the first floor and the basement. My dad would usually hang out in the living room on the first floor, hence why our video games were all downstairs on the crappy TV. Because our dad didn't really hang out down there. I'm the youngest sibling. I have two older brothers. I was anywhere from 6 to 8 years old when this happened. My older brothers weren't home, so they must have been having play dates with other kids. It was just my mom and I home at the time. My dad was likely at work. Usually I'd be playing video games with my brothers in the basement, so I wouldn't be scared. But since I was alone, I remember being kind of creeped out as I walked down the stairs. That basement door sucked because it wouldn't stay open. By default, it would just slowly creep shut unless something was propped in front of the door to keep it open. So it just made me feel even more isolated from the upstairs and my mom. I was playing whatever old video games I was into at the time, alone on that gray fluffy couch. Any little sound in the basement would make me pause my game and look in whatever direction I heard it.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be the same. Any little sound like that. And I don't know, that almost kind of sounds like paranoia, doesn't it? Just continuing to pause at no matter what sound. But yeah, I just think that would be kind of annoying to have to be like that. Constantly pausing your game and looking around the room. But that's just my opinion.
There would always be creepy sounds that would come from the laundry room. And even though I grew to expect them, they'd still sometimes creep me out. They were usually familiar sounds though, and so when I heard an unusual sound come from inside the laundry room, I paused my game. It wasn't the sound of the laundry machine or the boiler clacking. It was the sound of something dropping to the floor and bouncing once or twice. I remember jumping off the couch and running upstairs to find my mom, saying there's someone in the basement. And I remember my mom's calm reaction, asking me what happened, and then explaining to me that nobody is down there. To make me feel better, she went back down to the basement with me. She opened the door to the laundry room, turned on the light, and looked inside for a few seconds. Then she shut the door and said there's no one in there. So naturally, I felt better, and she went back upstairs, and I went back to playing video games.
I mean, the funny thing is that if there were someone in there, what would the mom be able to do? I mean, if there was someone in there, they could easily attack the mom, right? Because I just find it funny in these situations how people look around with no weapon in hand. And it's like, oh, everything is safe. Oh, well, if there was someone in there, like, you wouldn't be able to defend yourself. I just find that kind of ironic, don't you?
I can't remember how much time passed before I went back upstairs to eat a snack. My mom was already preparing dinner. I remember it being dark out now, which only added to my fear of the basement. The basement had two small windows, which did allow some light in during the day. So at night, it was just completely pitch black down there. I did end up going back down there though, and then eventually I heard the sound of the heater in the laundry room turn on, only it was extremely loud. I turned around and noticed the laundry room door was now open. I got off the couch and slowly walked to the laundry room door. It was pitch black inside of there. I was scared to turn on the light. I just wanted to shut the door. I gathered up enough courage to run at the door and slam it shut and then run back to the couch. For some reason, I just felt safer on the couch. I guess for whatever reason, I didn't once think that it was strange that the door was magically open now, even after my mom had closed it earlier. The next thing I remember was hearing a man's voice from behind me. And at first, my brain didn't register what the fuck I just heard. It didn't seem real at first. I turned around and saw some sickly looking man sitting in the booth in the corner of the basement with his arm on the table and his head resting on his fist. He said, "My God, how you've grown." I was frozen stiff. I couldn't even scream. I just looked at the man in the corner with my mouth hanging open, twitching. He slowly stood up in this crooked, hunched over posture, and it seemed like he was slowly starting to walk towards me as he said, "Your mother won't let me see you guys." I finally was able to scream, and I just bolted for the stairs.
How creepy would that be? To just see some random person in your basement like that and saying those things. And granted, I feel like either way, it would be super creepy, but I feel like this is less creepy than a complete random stranger. But it's still creepy nonetheless, because clearly he's family, or he's a family friend, or whatever it is. But, yeah, like, I still think that would be the creepiest thing in the world, to just have some random sickly-looking man down there like that. Family friend or not, and clearly they're not even family friends if the mom won't even let him see the kid. And that's just kind of crazy, isn't it?
I was screaming "Mom" the whole way up to the kitchen. I slammed the basement door and locked it. I screamed and cried to my mom that there's a man downstairs. I saw the look in her face, and she was petrified. She called 911. I strangely don't remember what happened in the moments before the police showed up. I just remember a bunch of police officers getting there and going down to the basement. I was with my mom and a police officer in a safe room while they found him. And the man they found was my uncle. My estranged uncle, my mom's brother, who was basically excommunicated from our family for being a child rapist. Our parents never wanted him anywhere near us, nor did my mom want any contact with him. He broke into the house and had been hiding in the basement for God knows how long. I didn't even know his face, as the last time I'd seen him I was a baby. I haven't seen him since then. He went back to prison for another 4 years for another sex crime. We don't know where he is now.
Dang, a child rapist. Isn't that sick? There are some really sick people out there. But, yeah, I don't blame the mom for not wanting anything to do with him because, you know, they say family is unconditional love and stuff like that. I kind of disagree because there are certain things that even family can do that would get you on the banned forever list. And that's just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think that family should always have unconditional love? Or do you think that there are some things like this that should ban a family member? It is sad for sure because, you know, you're supposed to love your brothers and sisters and have a good time with them and be friends with them and all that. But, so in a way, the story is kind of sad too, along with really creepy. Because even though the brother is a sick guy, he clearly wanted to see the kid so bad that he broke in. But it's good that he went back to jail because, yeah, that kind of stuff is pretty sick. Let me know what your thoughts are on the whole unconditional love for family thing. I'd be interested to know. But yeah, I thought this was a creepy story. And I hope you enjoyed my music and the commentary. And be sure to check the pinned comment below, because I have something for you that will help you start saving money and even potentially making more money for your next horror adventures and outings. And it's a really cool opportunity, so be sure to check that out in the pinned comment, and I will see you in the next video.